heading into Champ Select between Divine Esports and EVOS Esports. And Omo, I'm curious. You know, we talked a lot about Zipper and VODs and them, you know, sort of like being a lot of the catalysts around EVOS Esports. It's gonna mirror into TanX and Len. And how do you think they can match up against this dynamic duo from EVOS?
TanX and Len going up against Tipper and Valdez is going to be a very interesting one. Both Baron laners are capable of being the carries for their team, and I think Hope 1 and Katsatan as well, they're quite mirrored in the sense that both of them do like to be the late game insurance. You don't need to play around them in the early game, they're just always capable of coming online and carrying you in the late game. There we go, Galio to get things going. If it goes to the mid lane, it's going to be a very efficient roamer. If not, that's going to be a pretty good support that can roam as well.
But that's what's interesting, right, about these two teams, because when we talk about those champions that are very high priority, like the Ziggs, like the Renekton, and so on, it feels like, okay, you're going to want to guarantee one of those, but kind of much to your point there before, I mean, with the mid lane comparison, like the Galio is just so good in this matchup. It can be flexed, it can be denied, and Coyote says, maybe almost telegraphing that it's not going to be the Galio in the mid, because he's now locked in J4.
Yeah,
Okay.
really interesting. I like this. I like this Kha'Zix on Valdez. I remember him being like, you know, such a great jungler, so eager to see what he can do on the Kha'Zix. And yeah, a lot of muscle though coming in from Divine Esports. Looks like they're really going to take these team fights straight to EVOS Esports.
It's looking to be a Jarvan mid, like you mentioned, Skimmy, so that's gonna be very likely a Varus Galio here in the bottom lane. And the Darius just says we want to negate the last pick for Tipper. Whatever he picks up. Wait, hold on a minute. Okay, it's gonna be a Jarvan jungle Galio mid, so he's taking the counter pick. He's gonna lose the jungle matchup to the Kha'Zix, but he's saying it's fine, I just want to be utility, I just want to jump on your Ziggs and make sure he can't play the game. But I do like this Janna pickup from Rich. It's a bit of a Rich special, it's a good enchanter pick for him. He's very efficient at roaming across the map, and that was exactly what the Jess said yesterday as well. Where Rich really shines is when he gets to roam. That's what Janna does. You're gonna empower your Fiora, you're gonna empower your Kha'Zix, and you're gonna knock the Jarvan away from your team.
And certainly, like, if Rich has the best positioning, right?
The playoffs is that, you know, they really do remind me of EVOS Esports, especially, you know, the dynamic between Len and Valdez being super aggressive at the early stages of the game, even oftentimes single-handedly being able to carry the game. And of course, who enables that is their mid laners, G4 and Coyote, being able to play everything and anything the team needs, and as well as to support that early game aggression. And now we get to see that. Divine Esports, Coyote over here on that Galio is able to fly across the map, is able to get that numbers advantage in the side lanes later on, perhaps, or even in the skirmishes. But in the meantime, we've got G4, who's now on this Ziggs, who... There's two ways to look at it. Either is able to just clear the waves, chill for 15 minutes, or is able to be involved in the early skirmishes for sure, especially come mid-game. Use the Mega Inferno Bomb for that big finishers, and probably we get to see that for G4.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the semi-global ultimate is something that we expect from G4 to be utilized to the maximum from EVOS Esports, and I think Omo has stated a while ago how EVOS Esports is looking at G4 very dominantly coming down, but now into the mid lane, it's now going to be a clash occurred, and Divine Esports takes the first blood, killing down on Valdez.
This is, I gotta say, a bit unexpected, because Valdez just wanted to basically farm the minion. Is able to get stun locked by Len and Coyote there, and really nice first blood. It was that ease of execution that EVOS has to watch out for. Flag and drag into the taunt, that is dangerous.
Yeah, the wombo combo, the CC chain, that's Divine Esports there that we're seeing into the mid lane. But now Valdez going for the flank here. Flash now going to be burned. Flash for Flash. That's going to be the kill for EVOS Esports. Traded down the first kill for EVOS in this game.
Valdez be mad there. He died just trying to hit a minion because of the CC lock. And he comes back into the lane, destroys Coyote, and it's now 1-1 even. It's one apiece when it comes to the Red Scuttlers, though. Top side, a little bit too scary, though, because Tipper already consumed his Ignite. Meanwhile, TanX, no barrier. So this could potentially be a Valdez visit later on.
Yeah. Spells pretty much used up for both Baron laners here. Tipper, no Flash, no Ignite. TanX doesn't have any barriers, so pretty much TanX needs to back away. Because if he doesn't, there's a big opportunity on how EVOS Esports can take their second kill. So I think that's a good call. But looking into the mid lane here, we talked about G4 a while ago, and I think currently they're building up into their ultimates. They're now onto level 5. So what can we expect here, Riku?
For EVOS, they have to be careful. I said earlier that 10X is going to be vulnerable. That means Valdez and Tipper can duo, create a gank, create an opportunity to kill him. But because Coyote is level 5, the punish potential of diving into the tower is going to be available. But the thing is, this Galio versus Ziggs matchup is similar to the Twisted Fate versus Ziggs matchup. If you fly across the map and you don't do anything, you're gonna suffer chip damage to your tower, and even worse, your tower is gonna fall down. G4 will be able to possibly get First Blood Tower for free, meaning if EVOS Esports gets Rift Herald, and then that means they get what? 2 towers in 1.
Yeah, that will give them a huge gold lead if they do that, because right now, it's when there's Divine Esports trying to get that driver's seat up and running immediately, because EVOS Esports, they need that scaling. They need to wait for Kaisa to get that first core item, second core item to even deal damage, and Ziggs also needs to wait up for around 10-minute mark or 15-minute mark to be able to do so much. So I think Divine Esports is utilizing the time that they have to give off that gap. But EVOS Esports, 2-man roam topside, gonna fail down.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, we're waiting for 2-item power spike for G4 to be able to be relevant in some of these fights, especially during the objective fights. Cat Satan, of course, will be that late game scaling insurance, alongside with Tipper, of course, with that 4-1 split push. So now everything is in the hands of Valdez and G4 during the early game, and of course Rich as well with roams. Help assist against Divine's big aggression, or rather their composition with their big CC lock, like right now.
Oh, what a play. But Satchel Charge also brings down Len together with him. But EVOS Esports gonna be home safety, and G4 not gonna get killed by Divine Esports.
It's gonna be safe for now. At least mission accomplished from Len is able to scare away G4, at least minus 1 person in the map temporarily. But this is a good call from Valdez. Okay, let's just exchange First Blood Tower, and as well open up the map for Tipper to be unlocked, for him to be either just be that split push menace already, or have more control over topside jungle of Divine Esports. That means Valdez can use that to roam around the map, find opportunities, find Len perhaps isolated. This is a really good call. We get to see EVOS Esports already open up the map in exchange of the air drain.
Yeah, I think it was actually quite clever from EVOS Esports. They were looking at, you know what, Rift Herald comes down to Divine Esports. They know that there is a strong side of the map for Divine on top side. So they want to push in. They got the Tower First Blood into the bot lane, and pretty much it's now even. Net positive maybe for Divine Esports because they have this Rift Herald early pressure in. They have this gold. But EVOS Esports is looking to match this up, looking to match this early aggression. And currently we're seeing a very even sort of statement here for both teams.
That's pretty even for now. This could be a dive though. Scary.
Divine Esports forces out the flash for Tipper. No kill. They won't do it. And Tipper will just go home safely.
That's the scary part about Divine Esports composition. Their mid game is incredibly strong. They have big dives. They don't need these objectives. They can basically strong arm their way into clearing down these towers, like right now.
Ooh!
By G4.
What was that? They just dove in, got the kill. G4 go back away. They're happy with that kill.
I said Galio, Jarvan 4. Don't forget about Quay here on the Rakan. Just big CC locked. We talked about this. And EVOS Esports will need Rich to be present for the big disengage. Without him, EVOS might be in trouble. I mean, G4.
They're
Top?
going in top side 2v1. That's going to be an easy kill there for Divine Esports. Tipper doesn't have anywhere to go. The first tier turret was down already for top lane. So Divine getting their 3rd kill off this game.
Yeah, all of EVOS Esports' vision are very defensive. So Tipper will not be able to anticipate that big dive. Again, Coyote over here on the Galio, which is pretty interesting, right? When we remember back in the Summer Super Cup, the big championship game, that big game number 5, G4 was on that Galio, and he performed phenomenally. Now we get to see Coyote over here is able to influence the lane, influence the rest of the map. And he's building towards that Rabadons too, so he's not only going to be present.
Ooh, Protobell for the flash, goes for the taunt, and that's going to be Jarvan 4 to follow up with the flag and drag. And now Darius comes into the fray, goes in for the apprehend onto Rich. Hero's entrance ready up, zones away EVOS Esports, and Divine Esports going to go home with a kill.
Divine, pretty happy about that. They get GeForce Life again. And it has been Coyote setups all throughout the first 8 minutes of the game. And picking up the Rabadons now, we talked about this before, he is gonna hurt. And the thing is, Hope 1 isn't even involved in these fights just yet. And the thing that I really like about the composition from Divine Esports, and I believe we mentioned this yesterday, is that Darius is so good with poke champions. Because usually when you poke, you can't exactly finish the kill. So you need that big finisher like Tane.
Oh, but look at EVOS Esports right now on top lane. They're going for the 3-man gank here onto Coyote, and he will be erased as EVOS Esports just bullies him in top lane.
That is exactly what we were looking for when they opened up topside, is EVOS taking control of the blue side jungle of Divine Esports, like right now. And 12 seconds without Coyote means EVOS can land deep vision into Divine Esports' jungle, maybe get a blue buff, or maybe find someone later on, as Tipper will now position here atop. Because 6 seconds, more or less, will be the Mountain Drake, which is going to be very important for both teams. Shield is very critical against pokes like G4 on the Ziggs, and as well as Varus here on Hope 1.
Yeah, so I think there will be a clash, there will be a fight for the Mountain Dragon, or if not, there will be a trading objectives when it comes to turrets, maybe there into the mid lane, because I think EVOS Esports can have value out of that as well if they don't want to fight up against Divine Esports, because currently they're 3k gold behind up against them. So it's a matter of two options here for EVOS Esports on what they want to do, but Divine Esports is clearly going for the Mountain Dragon, doesn't care if there is a member just hovering around, because they have that utility to counter engage.
Yeah, it's really difficult. Not a lot of vision. They're just going to be greeted by the CC lock we were talking about. Chain of Corruptions, knock up by Quay, Haunt, Flag and Drag, Cataclysm. It's just very dangerous. Well as not having a lot of vision to enter the fight. So we'll see. It is a 4v5 situation over here because Tipper...
Coyote going in as well as Tipper. Grand entrance coming from Quay. Gets the kill down with a knock-up onto Rich. And now EVOS Esports will lose the tier 1 turret into mid lane. Upper hand from TanX goes in, locks in, forces out Cat Satan to go in for the flash. Killer Instinct goes in, but he will actually get that kill. TanX with the guillotine gets that trade-off happening. 2-for-1 for EVOS Esports.
That is almost... That could have ended so much worse for Divine Esports, but look at Tipper. He's still split pushing.
Yeah, and they're going through, and that forces out Divine Esports to put a man in top lane. Because if not, that's going to be an inhibitor turret. So much value in this game. And when we're talking about these champions, right? You talked about TanX, we talked about Len a while ago. Some sort of attack front lines for Divine Esports. And when we look at the items, something interesting for TanX is he built up Dead Man's Plate. What do you think is going on here, Riku?
Dead Man's Plate, of course, being able to get that big movement speed for you to be able to get that big apprehend a little bit more, get a little bit more tankier, because Valdis, Tipper, Cat Satan are just going to be incredibly, incredibly painful. TanX has to survive to be able to contribute and survive a little bit more as well, serve as that big front line. And as well as Tipper, I mean, he has been constantly split pushing and has been the threat. So TanX just wants that big survivability for sure up against that split push.
Definitely got movement speed. Darius gonna be utilized very well. Now both teams are looking into the Baron Nashor. They're actually setting up the ward to have that information, but here into the bot lane, it's gonna be EVOS Esports. 2-man roam kills down TanX.
The split push. There it is, Tipper. Now being incredibly comfortable, working his way top, now at the bottom, even being assisted by Rich here. Gotta appreciate the roams coming from Rich, from top to bottom, just basically everywhere. And now that TanX is dead, Coyote is forced to go back. That means it is going to be 3-man at top side. EVOS Esports, if they find an opportunity to kill, they're just going to go for it. Tipper!
Oh, so much damage coming for Coyote, and that's going to be the proto build. Tries to go for the knockup as well, but he's just running. He's just lunging, and he goes back away unscathed. Low on HP, but he still lives.
I think that's pretty crazy. Tipper just wanted to do his mission and just basically destroy the tower. You taunt me. It's fine. I'm pretty low. I got turret hits. It's okay. Tipper going at it again.
Yeah, he wants to 1v1. It's a man on a mission here for Tipper. uses up the Grand Challenge, forces out the flash on Coyote, and here comes the party. Hope One just zones him away with the arrow, and Tipper understands that we're on the weak side of the map, so we have to go back.
And they gotta go back because Baron was almost initiated by EVOS. And I feel like they're gonna keep doing this. They're gonna keep using Tipper as that big hotspot to force Divine Esports to invest more resources because Tanex cannot deal with Tipper right now in that big split push. Because of that, Divine will have to keep an eye on always towards the top side with the Baron. And look at this now. Tipper moving towards top side because Dragon is now spawning. And therefore, pressure will be building in that direction. Divine Esports, look at them. They're like running across the map. They know that they need to invest 2 or more members to kill Tipper.
Yeah, and they have to stick together. I think EVOS Esports is running around like this because they understand that Tipper is alone on top side. If a fight occurs, they need to act actively, and having just a Strom gives them that extra power when it comes to those team fights. But look at this. They're losing out onto the Ocean Dragon to just push top lane. So this might be an inhib for a Dragon here in this game for EVOS Esports. But now, it's gonna be Coyote
really well
forcing out the taunt. That's gonna be the kill coming down onto Divine Esports. It's the outplay. Deeper will die down. And now Taunt X comes in and tries to react. Rich is now running away, is trying to go back. But Taunt X is going in, is getting the apprehend, is getting the kill down. EVOS is now losing out. 3 kills right now for Divine Esports with no trade at all for EVOS Esports.
There was a plan in mind for EVOS there. They wanted to instead give up the Dragon. Hold that thought though, because G4 is still alive. Ziggs behind the Baron pit can be dangerous.
Definitely, but no Mega Inferno Bomb to try and get that steal down. The only thing that they can do is try and lock down, but Divine Esports gonna get that Baron Nashor. No contest coming from EVOS Esports, and they're just gonna go back home with the Baron in their inventory.
Going back to what EVOS did, there was an attempt there. They know that someone or two people will go and collapse on Tipper, so they decided to invade the jungle, wait for someone. But the thing is, they couldn't finish off the kill on Coyote. It basically backfired, cost them a lot, cost them deaths, cost them, more importantly, the Baron now that Divine has. And with that, decent wave clear in the form of G4, in the form of Cat Satan, I suppose, but not exactly the range that you want.
But EVOS Esports now trying to change this up. Tan X is going for the 1v3 here up against EVOS Esports as they take down Tan X with a blink of an eye. They're gone, and now Coyote is forced to just go back away into the mid lane while Divine Esports takes the tier 2 turret mid.
Right now, EVOS Esports just forced to defend here.
They have
Forced to
to.
engage, perhaps?
EVOS Esports now on the edge. This tier 2 turret once again being pressured down by Divine Esports as Coyote jumps in. That's gonna be taunt up, and Kue goes in with the grand entrance, zones the enemy team away. Galio with a hero, Zentrons goes for the knockup as well. Now EVOS Esports is very low. They have to go back.
Valdez?
And Divine Esports just has this opportunity. And Val does look at the damage coming from Coyote. With just one, he goes back, and now Inhib turret is looking for Divine Esports. EVOS
Oh
Esports
dear.
though tries to go for the counter engage as well. Grand entrance goes for the
Teleport.
two-man knockup. Come from Divine
Got it.
Esports. TPs are coming up. Not gonna be enough as Divine Esports takes 3 and an Inhib turret for their team. And now Valdus and Rich, the only one left to defend. But the Baron Nashor is utilized to the limit here for Divine Esports, taking 2 from that.
There's still that Baron buff. There's still teleports coming in. Came in, rather. And EVOS, now that their base is open, the snowball, the domino effect of what happened from their attempt to kill Coyote cost them the Baron and now almost their base. Let's take a look at that replay again. At this point, you know, we get to see Divine having all 3 dragons, having the Baron. They're very comfortable in this fight. They're in the lead. And because of the pressure now that the waves are always going to be in favor of Divine, Tipper will have a difficult time having to get that 4-1 split push threat. And with that, we saw how every single time G4 is the priority target, every single time Divine enters a fight.
Yeah, I think EVOS Esports right now, with this massive deficit, they need to control down the lanes if they could. And I think that is what Tipper is doing right now into the top lane. As you stated, they need to try and control this back into them because the Infernal Elder Dragon will be alive pretty much very soon. So if the wave is keep on constantly pressuring them, it's not looking that great. Because once they lose on the team fight that will occur later on, if they try to contest onto Infernal Dragon, it's not going to be looking that great.
Yeah, it doesn't even have a teleport as well. Tipper focusing more on that survivability with the Proto Belt, with the dashes, with the mobility. That's why we get to see now a potential fight could happen in the mid lane. Infernal Drake, though, the Elder Drake rather, up for grabs. I'm looking at teleports coming from Divine though, because remember, base is basically open from mid to top, and if EVOS takes their sweet time in the Elder Drake, they will definitely lose the game, as again, Divine can just run straight to the mid lane.
Yeah, but now Divine Esports is looking at the different perspective here. They're going for the Infernal Elder Dragon to have that massive amount of damage, while Eva starts up onto the Baron Nashor. Now Quay has this information, Gil actually goes in, but that will be EVOS Esports taking out the Baron buff. Quay comes in, tries to engage, tries to delay how Divine Esports or how EVOS Esports is trying to go back. Now Coyote is tanking down. Coyote goes for the knockup as well. It's gonna be melted down though. And now it's gonna be Len trying to go in, but Divine Esports has aced down EVOS Esports and they can finish the game.
What a finish from Divine Esports now. They're running straight to the Nexus, and this is that big upset that we're talking about.
Yeah, it's Divine Esports showing up here in this game to take the first game of the series.
Omo is onto something, everybody.
Trying straight to the bank, and yeah, I mean, that's certainly a good foundation to pivot pretty much any way you like. Any ADC, any support, it can be flexed. I suppose now it's time for that grand reveal.
Yeah, yes indeed, revealing what is going to happen in Game 2 as we enter Champ Select. Now, I do remember, you know, some of the best games of EVOS Esports in the summer season were when Thipper and Valdez, they were really just, you know, they were tag teaming together, and we didn't exactly see that as much in the first game. It could be EVOS Esports trying out different things, of course. It could be them trying out, you know, maybe this should work. Maybe Thipper should just go and do his own thing, and Valdez will stay here or something. But I really do think that these guys are better together. They have that connection in game as well as in real life, so I feel like, you know, you can just utilize that, and that's one of EVOS Esports' strengths. But yeah, Omo, what are your thoughts on the draft so far here as we enter the Champ Select for Game 2?
This is kind of what we expected, right? We said both of these mid laners, they want to play the utility, they want to play the Romans, the Globals, and we see the priority kind of shift around there. Galio being first picked is not something we've seen the whole tournament at all whatsoever. And this time around, because of how the meta develops within the series, EVOS says, we don't want to give it to you again, Coyote. I want to empower my side laners, and they grab it together with the Jarvan, and this is going to be a very scary start to the draft for Hope 1 on this Varus.
Yeah, I think it's a lot harder, right, to counterpick the Galio than it is to Fate, both offering a similar fashion with global pressure, obviously, but then the CC and so on afterwards. It's not going to be the Ziggs, as I imagine. They're going to ban that away themselves, but they do contest that J4, and that's what gets me excited as to where do they go here now. Will it be as simple as Dipper just locking that in topside, or will they still flex things out? It doesn't seem as likely in the jungle, obviously, because you've got the Kha'Zix. Galio still could be up in the air as to where they go, but this is what Divine did in game number 1. They had lots of flexibility, and they're sort of saying that, Divine, you need to reveal your hand because we have the pivoting power.
Yeah, this is really interesting. We said they would go for something a little bit more 5v5 oriented, and I think with the Jarvan and Galio both being flexes, it does show their hand, right? It shows they're gonna 5-5, especially since Jarvan can no longer go into the jungle like you mentioned. So I think it's very likely it's gonna be a Tipper champion this time around. We'll have to see how that plays out against Darius. I think it's fine. Nice. You can poke him from a distance, and this is gonna be, yeah, a really nice start. You guys all just jump in the 5v5 that we talked about. Kai'Sa will fly in after you, Lulu will buff everybody, and that's a very effective team comp. But Divine, what they have is pretty scary as well, Skimmy.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, they've definitely got like a lot of pick potential. You're looking at straight away the explosive cast and the charm, the route afterwards, and it just makes it very easy then for those two bruises to get in. And I think that's, you know, one of the credits that we have to give to Divine in that last game, right? The fact that they had such a strong engage and very easy rotational power to say that, sure, whilst Fipper was split pushing against the Fiora, the rest of his team really couldn't, you know, draw enough gravity towards their situation.
Galio back at the SSC mid laner that changed everything for EVOS.
Yeah, I cannot forget about G-Force. Galio is able to set the tone, is able to, again, back when they faced against one team, his performance was just phenomenal. Was able to initiate the very last clash that won them the game. And now here we are here in the fall season in the C Championships. Get to see him again. And of course, I was when I saw him land, or rather secure the Galio, I think the second thought that was in my head was, okay, G4 doesn't want to die anymore. I'm going to play a tank.
Yeah, and he is gonna be built like a tank. He built up onto the first item to build that HP, which I presume is gonna be building onto the Rod of Ages for that scaling potential when it comes to the magic damage or AP damage coming from EVOS Esports mid lane. Be utilized very, very well. But looking at this state, EVOS Esports went for 3-man roam topside, steals down, jungle invade onto Divine Esports, and I think they're going for a statement here. They want to be very aggressive, and it looks like it for now. But Len just went in for the parallel trade here. They also went for the jungle invade on red side, on red buff for EVOS Esports.
Yeah, I believe it's the dynamic of having to get that lane swap in. Because there's no dual laner at the bottom portion of the map, Len can basically free reign at bottom side. And this lane swap is very important for Cat Satan and Rich because they're going up against a very scary dual laner on Divine. You got Koi on the Gragas, big heavy engage, potential dive like what we're seeing right now, and big pokes. It's usually this Kai'Sa always having a hard time with Xayah versus Varus matchups, and that's the reason why we get to see this lane swap.
Yeah, definitely that could give them a huge lead, but here into the mid lane, that's going to be Ignite, bring down into Coyote, and here in bot side, it's all gone for good, but EVOS Esports still going to be alive, no kills as of yet. 3-man roam for Divine Esports, not going to be able to get that kill, but just early pressure into the bot lane.
They're wanting to get at least that potential dive against Pipper now that he has no flash. Divine Esports can basically try again and make that second visit. They are rushing this first blood tower right now. Look at Len. He's going to assist this one. We'll see who goes first, though.
Yeah, it's a vertical trade. Divine Esports going for bot lane, while EVOS Esports goes for top lane. Who's going to get the tower first blood is now the question here, but TonX, Coyote, now going on top side. They're going in for the defense, but EVOS Esports takes 2 third plates on top side.
Yeah, and this is the second wave coming in already. Thipper trying his best to just clear the wave here. He might be open for a dive.
Oh, the flag and drag is going to be massive. Hero's entrance comes down. Not going to be able to go for the knock-up, but just good enough to clear out the wave into the bot lane, hindering Divine Esports to go for the push.
Yeah, and it's all back to the top laners being solo, and now it is that big rush of who gets to get first blood tower. Range-wise, of course, Hope 1 is much better versus that big Apprehend. So on paper, Divine should get this one first.
Ooh, lockdown coming for the Cataclysm. Tipper forcing out the flash because the third damage is just so much. And now Hope 1, very low in HP. Chain of Corruption now going to be forced down by Hope 1 because if they do not, that might be a kill for EVOS Esports. But here, top lane, VODs trying to get that kill. TonX forces out the flash. VODs flashes in as well. First blood for EVOS Esports with VODs getting the kill.
I love how there's this big mini game of top laner surviving because whoever dies first will lose that big tower. So we get to see, I believe EVOS is able to get that first blood tower on their favor, as again, TonX was pretty much low.
Yeah, it gives them that positive, even though if Divine Esports got that trade. Now, Coyote comes into the fray on top lane, but too quick, too efficient for EVOS Esports to go back away. They don't want to fight. They already got what they came for.
Yeah, that big rush. Now Rift Herald is so important because you get 2 towers open immediately after securing this. But look at Divine, already first dibs on this area. EVOS knows what's up. They're going to move towards Air Drake instead, which will assist heavily on the roams. We get to see Pipper, well as Valdez as well. Okay.
Oh, 3v1. Divine Esports is gonna pin down Tipper, forcing out the flash. Explosive cast to follow up. Proto Belt puts him at 1 HP. Flag and drag goes for the knock up. Tipper's still gonna be live. Oh my! What? Kue is trying to run up, trying to catch up. Tipper is running away. He lives! He lives!
No way that just happened. There were 3 people collapsing. TonX was ready to meet him inside his tower and say hello to kill him, but it didn't work. The flag and drag just basically passed through everybody else, and their range, unfortunately they have no range. There's 3 melees over there attempting at his life, so we just saw the great escape coming from Tipper.
Yeah, I mean, Gragas did not have the explosive cast, already used up the barrel, so pretty much no range at all coming down for Divine Esports on top lane. And that was just a miracle play from Tipper running away. But here into the bot lane, it's a different story. That's the charm onto Galio. Two-man taunt, knock up to follow up. G4 is using up all his utilities, and now he's gonna be burned down. Divine Esports takes the kill onto the mid lane. EVOS Esports gonna lose G4.
Yeah, he became the sacrificial lamb to make sure that everybody else, his teammates, are ready to escape. Take note, Tipper doesn't have flash.
Protobelt apprehend on Tipper, locks down with a Cataclysm on Len and TanX, but Divine Esports is going all in here, into the mid lane rather, as EVOS Esports needs to contest. Chain of Corruption locks down onto Rich, but Rift Herald, good utilization onto that one charge, will not be able to get that third down, so this is gonna be so difficult for Divine Esports.
Task.
Oh, massive. Hero Zentron zones away the enemy team. But even then, Divine Esports takes that turn and gets a kill with the arrow from Hope 1.
That fadeaway arrow from Hope 1, he just wanted to retreat. Might as well take one before I die, or rather, before I go back to base, and that's exactly what happened. And that's the thing, right? Whenever we see a Varus in the opposite side, the Jarvan 4 is usually that big answer to be able to bridge the gap. Because of Hope 1's incredible range, you need Tipper to deliver G4 into the backline. But that means if you kill Tipper, what are your options? I don't think Valdez is going to gain access unless you set up this flank, unless you have a sneaky entryway. But it's so difficult with Quay around because of that big explosive cask who's just ready to punish you. So Tipper, very critical in this composition to counter Hope 1 every single time he's going to be in the backline poking.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned about Valdos because Valdos needs that isolation target. The problem is Divine Esports is just stacking on top of each other. They're not going away, so Valdos is not going to have that easy time. But look here, Hope 1 forcing out the Stasis Ancha because he is the lone wolf as EVOS Esports, as soon as I said it, they look for a kill on solo.
I think you just cursed him. Infinity, that's exactly
Caster's
what
curse.
happened. Is that Caster's curse. And now that's Hope 1 gone, EVOS can initiate.
Yeah, they do. G4 goes in for the 3-man taunt, and that's the Cataclysm to lock down onto one. The kill will be secured by Divine Esports onto G4, the trade that they want, and they're going back away. And EVOS Esports trying to run. TanX is here with the flash, goes in, massive amounts of damage, and that will be another kill for Divine Esports. But there goes Valdos, jumps through, but at the end of the day, Divine Esports got the triple kill for Len, gets the trade 1 for 4.
Yeah, Len is killing it today in this series against EVOS right now. We were talking about this player when he made his debut in the play-ins and how he just really stood out as a player. He's able to, again, single-handedly win games for Divine Esports, especially when it comes to the early game, and he's doing it again. No Lee Sin, no problem. He's here on the Sin Zhao. He's able to get that triple kill on the board, and of course Coyote as well with that big charms is able to make things count. Infernal Drake now up for grabs. Divine has yet to still get a dragon for themselves. They do have that big lead when it comes to the gold. We'll see how they'll be able to initiate this time around.
Yeah, everyone is here. Everyone is waiting for the opportunity onto the Infernal Dragon because very high of a priority, high value as well when it comes to giving up buff. Up to 6% damage increase when it comes to scaling, so much to happen, so they're not giving this for free. EVOS Esports is prepared to fight this, while Divine Esports is continuing onto the dominance onto the Dragon's Pit.
Exactly, they have been zoning EVOS Esports away. Look at TanX, their position here. Tipper?
Whoa, Dragon Drag with a flash in with a Cataclysm
There it
actually
is.
locks down, and the hero's entrance, 3-man knockup, and EVOS Esports goes for the engage. Look at Home 1, gonna get burned down with the Ignite. But 1-4-2, that will be Divine Esports, still having the dominance onto the Infernal Dragon. That will be secured by Len, and Divine gets their first dragon in this game.
Valdez had a rather G4 Tipper. That is exactly what we were looking for. They need Tipper to dive into the backline. G4 delivers with that big knock-up with the hero's entrance. The biggest problem is we're still 10 minutes into the game. Cat Satan isn't still online just yet. There's two options. Either Cat Satan has won his lane, but again, the lane swap happened. They didn't exactly get to capitalize on TanX being solo. They were happy with that big push at top instead of the first blood tower. Looking at the fight once more, gotta love the HP management and as well as the cooldown management coming from Divine. Once everything is out, they just go back away. Simple as that. Then go back in when everything is back up. Now Divine, look at them. 3k gold lead. Infernal Drake with that big damage. We get to see Coyote as well with the Rabadon's death cap. Really nice fight. Hope won with the Cyrildas already completed, meaning the slows are going to be there, the utility is going to be there, meaning more Chain of Corruptions, more charms are going to land, and more apprehends are going to be easier to land.
And it's also a good alternative onto the Yuma's Blade or even the Mortal Reminder because it also gives you penetration coming from VODs' arrows. So I think Divine Esports is the good path here. They have the slow, they have the charm, they have Kwe with the Gragas, with explosive cast, and also the barrel. So pretty much every single CC is now going to be utilized by Divine Esports. While looking at Kaisa though, he needs one more item to have that power spike in this game, and we need to wait for that. And I think EVOS Esports is supposedly going to play this very patiently, especially considering that Divine Esports now 4k gold lead in this game.
And they're starting another fight here.
Yeah, Tumatan actually good to go back for G4, but Coyote is going for a very aggressive playstyle. Uses up the Spirit Rush to go in. Not going to be able to get that kill, but they're starting onto the Baron.
Coyote's so low though, so this could be very scary. I think it's a good call that they decided to back away. Made a little bit of an attempt there.
Just a bit.
Can't exactly go full in just because every ult is available on EVOS Esports and only one summoner spell consumed there, baited out. So I like the call coming from Divine. Still, this is not yet over because Divine has that late game insurance, has Cat Satan. We know how he's able to step up.
Next into the fray, into the front line, forces out to flash onto Valdos Wild Road as well to give extra sustainability. But look at Tanex, resets 2, gets that guillotine down, triple kill for Divine Esports, and they're now dominating in the pitch, and double kill for Hope 1. That will be the 4 kills. EVOS Esports will get none out of that.
They had no vision in that jungle. They thought that they would have gotten one person and then get out, maybe go to the Baron after, but everyone was there. EVOS was not prepared for that. Now everyone's dead. Now Divine gets Baron.
Yeah, they had the Twin Shadows, only got to see Tanex, but they do not know that there was 3 members onto the backside of Tanex, which just went sideways for EVOS Esports, and now Divine Esports with that 4 kills are now able to secure the Baron buff.
Yeah, this is looking to be that big victory coming from Divine. Let's take a look at that again. Valdez having the wild growth, having to be on the backside. He was pretty much low already. Len just came from the flank and just basically destroyed the backline of EVOS Esports there and then. And that basically messed up their positioning, messed up their attempt to eliminate someone right away coming from Divine. And basically, now Divine has to siege. EVOS Esports has no space to work with on the next objective and are forced to just defend. They've got Winds of War for the wave clear. Cat Satan, a little bit 50-50 because Cat Satan has to go near for the Icadian Rain, which is going to be a little bit risky. So it is just definitely G4 for the wave clear.
Especially with a lot of CC from Divine Esports, right? They have Lamb with a knockoff, but
Cataclysm.
look, here at Jarvan 4, Cataclysm onto 2, that's gonna hero Zankers to follow up, and Divine
Oh, the
Esports,
stun.
the taunt! 4-man, no follow-up though for EVOS Esports, and now Katsaden into the backside,
Katsaden?
Killer's Instinct gets 1, but not 2, as he is now gonna get pinned down, gets the double! What was that? But now Valdo's the only one left for EVOS Esports. Can he defend 3 members from Divine with the Baron buff, with the Baron empowered
Valdez.
minions, and he can't. He jumps in, tries to clear down, and Divine Esports has all the free real estate to finish this game. They take 2nd game of the series.
And Divine, what a huge statement here. They're able to get 3 points today up against